Okay, so just start off by standing and shift your attention to the contact between your feet and the ground, and sense how the weight shifts around the surface of your feet. Allow your body to sway rather than holding stiff. And sense the position of your head in relation to your ribcage and your pelvis. And imagine how they're dancing on top of one another. Now slowly rock backwards and forwards using just your feet. Feeling the weight shift from your balls to your heels. And now side to side, finding where the edges of your balance lies. And now we'll move on to our first movement form, which is focused on flexing and extending the spine. One image I like to use is that I'm receiving a bucket from the sky. I'm dropping the water on the floor, wiping the water, and then looking back up to the sky. But if any other image comes to mind as you're moving, feel free to use those as well. As you go up, lead with the head and follow with your eyes. And as you're learning the movements, just move to the degree that is comfortable, not trying to force anything. And the body will open up over time as you practice more and more. Here's a side view. You can see that I'm hinging from the hips first and then folding the rest of the spine. And then the head's leading and a small arch. Move slowly to start with so you can sense what's happening in your body. Just check that you're not holding your breath. Okay, now on to twisting. So starting with the feet together, just twisting from left to right. Again, sensing what's happening in your head, ribcage and pelvis, how they're twisting in relation to one another. And sensing the weight shift from your left to your right foot. You can imagine an axis going down the middle of your body, and that you're rotating around this axis, trying to find the easiest pathway. Now bring your feet a bit wider, just slightly wider than hip width, and continuing the same thing, shifting the weight from left to right, allowing your arms to be loose in the socket. You can almost imagine that you're wringing out a towel. A little bit wider this time, but only so wide as your body is still able to move in harmony. So we don't want to go too wide that any part of our body gets stuck. So here you can see that the pelvis is still able to move freely in relation to the hip joints. Now adding a bit of complexity, doing the same movement but adding a bend in the knees. So just try to spend a bit of time getting the coordination right. Here we're really nourishing our knees also as we continue to work on the twisting of our spine. Okay, so now we'll move on to a different kind of rotation. Starting the circle with the head and allowing the rest of the spine to be involved. You can keep your arms by your side and just trace the sides of your legs. Keep your shoulders relaxed. You can slowly reach lower and lower, but only go so far as is still comfortable. And then getting smaller and smaller until it's just the head rotating. And I'm aware that this movement is not very common for most people to do, so just start by doing a little bit, and if you feel dizzy, just take a rest. Now we'll go the other direction. Once again, starting small. And then going lower towards the knees. And then to the ankles, bending the lower body as you go downwards. Okay, now make your way down to kneeling, and we'll move through cycles of flexion and extension. If kneeling's not comfortable for you, then feel free to sit with your legs in front of you instead, and use your arms to facilitate the movement by rotating inwards and out. Try to feel the movement of each vertebra. Now we'll finish with a short self-massage, working on the upper arm and going down towards each finger. This is a nice way to wake up the body. You can almost think of it as a gentle bath. So this whole sequence you can practice every day if you want to. Maybe make it a morning routine. And try to memorize each movement. And practice maybe for a month and see what difference it makes to your movement and to how your body feels. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.